After years and years, we finally got the chance to watch New Mutants, but was it worth the wait? Stay tuned and find out as we review New Mutants on this episode of Blerd Up Reviews.
Welcome back to another episode of Blerd Up Reviews, where we discuss the latest and greatest in film and provide our thoughts and opinions with a blurred perspective. We're your hosts. I'm Killer Cam.
And I'm Monique.
And today we are reviewing New Mutants.
Yay!
I think I feel your energy and I feel like I'm there as well. So how long was this movie in development and how long was it in production? I feel like it was a really, really long time.
Yeah, it was a really, really long time. Plagued with a lot of reshoots, and then it got caught up in the whole Marvel Disney type merger thing, and it's been a while, man. It's been a while.
It did catch a case of the Rona as well. There was this high debate on whether this was going to be in the theaters or if it was going to go streaming. They opted to push it into theaters, and wow.
I think it was more like if y'all don't get rid of this movie, I'm tired of looking at this movie. Like the studio was like, I'm tired of looking at this movie. Y'all don't get rid of this movie right now, I'm gonna blow up. So I think they were like, well, just go ahead and drop it in theaters and streaming. It'll be okay.
Yeah, so I tell you what, let's just go ahead and jump into this one because I think I have a lot to say. But before we do that, thank you to everyone who's been liking and subscribing to our channel. Of course, as a new channel, your likes, your views, your subscribes, it helps us grow. Plus, it makes us feel good to be able to share our point of view with fellow blurs and blerdettes. I'm really at a loss for this movie. So I guess I'll say this. I'm going to preface this video. Please bear with us, you guys. This has been a little bit slow these last 3 months when it comes to like material to review and react to. So volume wise, we're not pumping out as much as we're used to. However, that will change come the end of the month. So, we're going to take this little downtime here to just really dig into movies that maybe sometimes we probably wouldn't necessarily have checked out. But again, we do it just to kind of, keep our content up and then also maybe introduce you to something you might not be familiar with. So say that to say, if you are new to this channel, you are enjoying our reviews, our reactions, our gameplay, please make sure you do hit that like and subscribe button. It does help us grow as a new channel and it allows us to understand the type of content you would like to see. That was smooth, wasn't it? You want to kick this one off for New Mutants? I feel like this movie has bad juju. Like, even we're having problems filming about this movie because I think it's cursed. I really do think it was a cursed movie.
Something has attached its life force to it and is just draining it from this movie. Basically, I feel like they could have did better. I feel like they could have did a lot better on this movie. There was some things in it where I just didn't understand. I had so many questions as to why, where, how, who, and I feel like they just didn't. At one point, they were just like, what, just forget it all and end this movie, movie, and get it over with. I do want to highlight though Maisie Williams in this movie. I feel like she was as Rain. I think she was the best part of this movie. I watched her in Game of Thrones, and I felt like she brought that same type of charisma over to this. So I do want to highlight that I love the performance by Maisie Williams in this movie, but that's about the only thing that I loved.
I have to agree with you because I wanted more of her. I did want more of her because when she was on screen, like, she carried the scene. She carried the story. I can appreciate, because this movie was also filmed kind of like a horror thriller. Did you get that vibe? But I feel like they failed. I feel like I feel like they didn't fully commit to it. And I felt like it fell into a lot of the traps that some of the other superhero movies have fallen into lately, specifically team-based movies where there's not exactly enough time to really care for the characters
Mhm.
because I didn't really
Mhm.
care for them. I think the smart thing that they did was with, I can't even remember Homegirl's name, the Native American.
Her name was oh, Jesus.
See, that's what I'm saying.
That's how horrible. That's how horrible this is. Her name is, I know her last name is Moonstar.
Hmm.
And I know I should know this from the comic. I know she's Mirage from the comics.
Yeah.
Danny. Danny.
Okay.
Uh,
I'm sorry, guys. You know what? And I'm going to go in and let Have on this movie because I feel like we know better. There's been enough superhero movies, enough team superhero movies to know what works and what doesn't work, and this did not work. They didn't commit
mhm.
to the darker theme, which I felt like they were almost there, but they just, mm, just like,
Mhm.
they
Yep.
had this group of characters where they weren't fully I didn't care about them. I mean,
Mhm.
homeboy that was in the pool swimming, he was kind of cute, but that's about the only thing that made me look up and be like, ooh. Um
Yeah.
I thought they were really smart with Mirage for her power to provide a little bit of backstory on those characters, but it still wasn't enough you
Yeah.
know it still wasn't enough. Mind you, I really, 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 really like Teresa Mendoza. That's not her name, that's the character she plays in Queen of the South.
Alice Braga.
Alice Braga. I really
Mhm.
like her. I hated her performance in this movie.
Me too. I think you actually hit the nail right on the head when you said basically they were trying to go for this because all this time when we heard about New Mutants coming out, we heard all this buzz like it's going to be like more of a horror movie.
Hmm.
They were trying to go for the whole Doctor Strange and the whatever of madness that's supposed to be coming out. It's supposed to be more horror than
Yeah.
superhero and stuff. But I think you said it where they just didn't commit to it. I
Hmm.
felt there were a lot of points in this movie that they were trying to like they dangled this kind of horror in front of you, and then they were like, "Oh, just kidding, it's just a dream. It's all over. It's all over with now." And as
uh,
well, I feel you when you say they give me enough to care about these characters. Um, when there was a character in danger, whether it be the homeboy in the pool or Ilyana's character, if I'm saying her name right, I might not be, and I'm sorry if I'm not. um what is his name, Charlie Heaton's character, Sam, I think
hmm.
his name is. I Whenever they got into these situations and they were like in trouble, I was like, this movie, I know they're going to make it out fine because this is the type of movie they've set this up to be. And I'm just really not worried about them. I'm not caring about them. When is this movie and how is this movie going to end? Because I'm ready for it.
You just made me think of something. You know what this movie was? This
What?
movie was the Breakfast Club of superhero
Yes,
movies.
you're so right.
It was the
You are
Breakfast
so
Club,
right.
and I feel like they should know better because we've seen these type of movies fail before.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert, guys, I have to talk about it. Demon Bear, that was a cop out. That was such a cop out villain to me. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like there's an opportunity, even with them being, the isolation wasn't even an issue for me. With them being isolated in this facility, that didn't even amp up the.
Yeah. To be honest, the I think the direction that they were trying to go was the real villain of this movie being was his name, Mr. Sinister and the Essex
Hmm.
Corporation, but they never really got more into that other than just
Yeah,
my superior say this, my superior saying that. And I felt like, yes, Alice Braga's character was doing that, telling the kids that to make them think that the superior was, Charles Xavier and the X-Men. But I feel like they could have delved a little bit into it. Like, I
yeah.
felt like at the beginning of the movie, they had these cameras around the facility, and I was like, oh, Mr. Sinister's watching those cameras, ain't he? Like, this is gonna get into it. And it never did.
Yeah.
Nothing never came of it. And I was like, what? Like, what? So
They
it's just her there watching 4 or 5 mutants?
basically, and they
Hello?
didn't they didn't break bad. Like,
Mm-hmm.
one thing that could have really amped this movie up a notch. Did you ever watch Ender's Game?
No, I've been meaning to though.
Oh man, I kind of want to spoil it, but I don't. But if
I
they
already
would have
know the
taken,
ending. It was already spoiled
okay,
for me a long time
okay,
ago.
so you saw how that movie played out, and they were like, "Ha ha, trick on you! You were actually in war. You did something bad.
Hmm.
You killed all these people." That's what would
Hmm.
have amped this movie up. If they would have exploited those children just a little bit harder, it
Hmm.
probably would have been a little bit more badass. But I feel
Yeah.
like they really just did not learn from past mistakes, i.e., team oriented movies. Suicide Squad had so much studio interference that Enchantress is the villain. Come to me, my child. What the
Yeah.
hell? And I felt like we got cheated with this because Demon Bear was a manifestation.
Of Danny. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So I felt like just like, oh, you're battling your inner demons. We're tired of seeing that shit. We know teenagers are fucked up. Like, come on. We know this
And
already.
I felt like they were like too with, the demon bear being the enemy at the end. I felt like they were like, you get it, New Mutants. Like, so
Yeah.
New Mutants, like, you get it. So like they're like like they're the most powerful out of all mutants. They're most dangerous because they're new. So there's New Mutants. So there's he's dangerous. Get it? Like I felt like that's what they were trying to do, and I was like, what the like what is this? What is this? you know?
It is almost like I want to say you guys tried too hard, but you didn't try hard enough. And I know that's a juxtaposition. That doesn't make sense. That goes together. You tried too hard, which annoyed me. You didn't try enough. You didn't try hard enough to step outside of the box, you know?
Hmm. Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like there's plenty of movies. If they really would have stuck with that horror genre and maybe taken a Lost Boys as a template for this movie,
Mhm.
would
I
have.
mean, that the whole problems that we're talking about at this point is probably the reason why they were like, just get rid of this movie. I'm tired of looking at it. We're not going to do anything else
Mm-hmm.
with it. Drop it in the theaters. Drop it on the streaming. I don't want to see it anymore. It was like a
They
a,
have to
a black
offload
mom.
it.
Black mama telling you telling the child telling their child, I don't want to see your face no more today because she tired from work, like that's basically what happened in this movie.
Yeah.
um Going through this though, did you have, again, I had a lot of questions about what exactly, because they're being held in this facility and they're saying, oh, I can't get out because Dr. Reyes has this ability to put a force field around
Mm-hmm.
the building. I had a lot of questions that stem from that. There were various times in this movie, several times in this movie, I mean, where I was
Excuse me.
like, she's asleep. So these barriers still up while she's still asleep. Like, did y'all check? Did y'all go check to see if her like how is she controlling these barriers when she's supposed to be asleep? Two, it's just one of her and five of y'all. For real? Like, y'all, how are y'all still in this facility? Like,
Yeah. I literally
why isn't
chalked it.
Ileana transporting them out of? She can go to this little world. Uh, how come she can't transfer them all out from the
Yeah.
barrier, like for just teleportation?
Yeah.
I don't. Why was Lockheed a puppet until the end of the movie?
This, I just chalked, because at the end of the day, like honestly, even watching it, I just didn't care. I was literally
Mm-hmm.
30 minutes into movie and it's like, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like almost it was, again, they just did not break bad. And it's almost like they're all orphans. They didn't have anywhere else to go. So they just didn't really, they didn't
Yeah,
try hard enough. Or maybe just didn't mind being, I don't know. I don't know. It was
yeah.
stupid. It
It
didn't,
just doesn't make sense to me.
yeah.
If I'm
And
orphan, if my parent, my sole parent just died, and I wake up in the facility, I'm gonna be
mm,
like, oh man, that was terrible that happened, but I'm still gonna get out of here because I don't want to be here. Like,
right.
I'm not just gonna accept that you're a doctor who picked me up and now you're trying to help me. I don't want your help. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't need your help. I'm good. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
And even with Blondie,
Anna
you know,
Taylor
I,
Joy, who plays Ileana. Mm-hmm.
yeah, she was a bitch, but she wasn't even a good bitch. It's like a bad bitch. That's what I want to say. She
Yeah.
wasn't even like a bad bitch. Like nothing she did was extra terrible other than poking fun and making fun of people. I mean, that was.
But my thing was, it made no sense to me that they tried to portray her as this badass character, but then she got this puppet, like, oh, Lockheed, like, oh, like, what do you say, Lockheed? I'm just like, and that got on my nerves because she kept trying to make Danny feel like she was less than, and I was like, bitch, you walking around with a puppet on your hand? Are you for real?
Now that part, I didn't actually mind that part really. What it reminded me of was of Captain Boomerang and his unicorn. So I got pleasure out of that, but it wasn't because of this movie. It was because of Suicide Squad. Yeah. So I mean
that's actually funny. Like that Suicide Squad thing that you're talking about, that was actually funny. But this, it was not. It just didn't hit. It just didn't hit.
It really didn't. And you know what? I'm even willing to say, I'm not going to cut it any slack, but I do feel it probably got caught up in that trap of the Disney merger and Disney Plus and all that stuff. I think they're just now coming to I hope they are coming to a point now, because I see it clear as day, where you've got Disney Plus being more family friendly and you have Hulu allowing for the rated R stuff. Yeah. I think if that would have been figured out and like really managed, they could have probably left that movie alone, amped up the darkness, and let that be a part of Hulu. It's all under Disney. You know, even with the Netflix shows that have been canceled, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Daredevil, Iron Fist, you know, those were a little bit more gritty or whatever. I would even be happy with them picking up those properties and moving them to Hulu, or who knows, Hulu and Disney. Right now they're operating as separate entities. Maybe they merge one day, maybe they don't. But I feel like they have an opportunity to stay true and kind of really dive into some of the darker material by really utilizing what Hulu has going on over there. Because they've got Hellstrom, you know, and that's pretty dark. I have watched a couple of episodes. It's pretty dark. So I think part of this, I'm not going to fault it 100% for the writers. I don't think the actors did a bad job. I just think it was pieced together poorly, and maybe it was just a result of that. So
yeah, I agree. I'll agree with that.
But I'm still Men on Film. I hated it. I like Blerd Up. I'm not going to lie. I'm giving it like a 2.
2. Yeah,
because I have no desire to see any remnant of that movie ever again. Yeah. I'm not even going to watch it when I'm editing this. trying to splice stuff into it. I'm like trying to think of like, how the hell am I going to convey my disdain for?
I'm gonna give it like a 3, only because again, I enjoyed Maisie Williams' performance, and also since you gave Henry Zaga a tip the hat, because he is cute, like daddy. Okay.
And what, Antonio Banderas supposed to be his daddy too?
Oh my gosh, that's another thing that made me angry. By the way, first Henry Zaga, you can see him next coming up in The Stand. That's coming out. If you want to watch him in that. But yes, there was supposed to be a deleted scene that I'm so angry that they did not include. It was supposed to include Antonio Banderas. They never filmed it. I think I read they never filmed it, but it was supposed to include Antonio Banderas playing Henry Zaga's father, Roberto's father. And they were going to show him and his connections with the Hellfire society or club or whatever, and I'm just like, that would have been so awesome. But no, they didn't even film the scene. So
that little nugget would have knocked the score up just a little bit. I agree with you. I'll give it a 3 because I agree with you. Maisie, she was the only one really I wanted to see more. Her character, actually, I felt like she had more of an arc than everybody else. You know, so yeah, I'll agree with you. I'll give it a 3 only because of her though. Only because of her. So
only you making it clear, only because of her though.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry if I'm really ornery with this. I'm over this this butchering of comic book movies. I don't like it.
That's a new word I've never heard from you before. Henry. Oh, Henry.
I'm Henry.
Oh, the
Lindsey
clown.
Graham. Lindsey Graham Henry. Don't come for me, low man. Anyway, what did y'all think of this movie? Had you had an opportunity to check it out? Are we being too hard on it, or were you just as frustrated as we were? I don't know, but we want to know. Drop down in those comments. Let us know your thoughts. Until next time, we're your host. I'm Killer Cam.
And I'm Mo to the I'm not, I can't, I'm Monique. I'm just...
We see y'all on the next episode of Blerd Up Reviews.
Thanks, guys.